So, it's the end of July. Had a bit of a crisis last weekend and haven't had a time to really address it. I will, it's been a loss. I'll get to that later. But for now, let me show you what I worked on instead. This evening's work is lubricated by Fathead Sorcerer, a Belgian-style dark ale. Come on, make an artsy one like you see on all the shows. Come on. I'm gonna spill it. The workbench was left well organized and properly cleaned here the other day because I decided to take this guy out and clean it up. This is the starter motor for my TX750. Some of you may recognize it. Looked pretty good inside. I did polish up the little commutator bars. It looked like the mica is deep enough. I did some electrical testing. Everything looked okay. Drop the WD-40 just a moment. One thing I noticed is that there is a seal exactly like this one. You can hardly see it because I lubed it up, but there's a metal and rubber seal there. There's also one here, supposedly. Difficult to see as it stands. I suspect it's not there, primarily because I cannot get this off. There was a lot of work involved to get all the screws out. You can see that the two screws that have Phillip heads have some apprentice marks, we'll call them. They were already slightly goobered. I fully goobered them, but I had to grind flat slots in them to extract them. I was able to use my impact here to get the long ones out, but then to get the short ones out, which I need to get this back plate off, I had to resort to goobering them up, partly because for my impact for that size Phillip, nope, that's the wrong one, that's the big one, that one would not fit, and this one fit, but met an untimely demise. Apparently, these are not super trustworthy if you buy them at Harbor Freight. But the tool has definitely given me my money's worth so far, so not a bad investment, but I did have to cut a slot. I'll give you an example of what that looks like. I used my Dremel tool. It's not very pretty, but I cut a slot in there so that I could extract it, and that worked. Interesting point, this is not a conventional screw. And on the microfiche, this part is shown, but is not given a part number, which is really great. So currently I can't replace them. I might try to make a neater looking cut, but they're off center on both of them. But I might try and just clean it up and reinstall it as a flathead screw, which, it'll do its job, it's just not going to be pretty. You can't see it, but I don't like to leave things that way. So anyway, I got it apart. I cleaned and lubed this. There's some dust in there from the from just use, wear, as well as from the brushes. And I did the best I could to clean and lube everything. And then I said, well, I can't get that end. I'll just put the, whatever that guy, the rotating bit. I'll put that back in there, and maybe with the commutator bars cleaned off and everything kind of sprayed out, it'll work. The problem is, and I'm sure you can't see it in that light, you could maybe just barely make out those two brushes in there. You can't push back the brushes, you can't get in the spinny bit, and you can't reassemble the starter motor, which means this has to come off. And the other day I spent a lot of time whacking, hence the various tools. I use this Delrin bar, rod, just because it's, got some spraying It's a little less aggressive than something straight metal. Trying to knock it out with the hammer. The problem is I don't have a good way to secure this. I don't have a full-size vise. I have a machinist vise, which is too short to grip the widest section of this, so it just wants to pop it out like a bar of soap. Without a good way to hold it, I'm kind of stuck with how to extract this end because I can't apply sufficient force. So that's where I stand now. Good news. The pipe is looking bit by bit like a pipe. I kind of goobered it up, you know. This is my first one in a while, and trying to get back to how it works, but, you know, not too bad. Not too bad. That's where things stand. So I guess we'll commence with the smashing and banging. Well, I finally got it off. The, you know, the seal wasn't like in horrible shape, but it's pretty dirty. I can clean it out. This was real healthy. Got it cleaned out. But I can at least reassemble it now, which I couldn't do before. So, there's that. Alright, clean this guy out and we can put it back together. So, luckily, because I was having the issues, I went ahead and ordered new seals for my starter motor. And I'm glad I did, because without those seals, I couldn't see the screw in the planetary gear system. And it is nasty in there. It's a little hard to see, but if you apply a screwdriver, it's just filled with delicious goop. So I took it apart. The screws holding it together were not even finger tight. So I'm going to take it. I tried squeezing some new lithium in there, which is why it's a mix of different colors of grease in there. But now I can actually clean it out, and we can have, hopefully, a nicely running starter. But you can tell the goop is all the way around the edge. Pretty nasty. So we'll have a better starter. It should run. If it actually turns the motor over, that is the big question. But I have to take the motor out anyway because of the tragedy I have yet to discuss. But glad we did this. Yuck. Funny story. One time I had, when I lived in India, I had this increasing ear pain, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then there was one day where it got to the point where if there was any noise at all, I would fall on the ground, clutching my head. So I go into the ER, and the ER guy gives me a cortisone shot because I was in a lot of pain. And then he looks in my ear, and he's like, I think there are eggs, little dots, you might have bugs. Which I thought would make a pretty rockin' story if I had some insect infestation of my ear canal. And it hurt to the degree that I was not surprised. We went to the ear specialist. It ended up that I had a fungal infection in my ear canal, and he pulls out something remarkably like this. It hurt like I was like in intense pain. He pulls out this pink and black blob that's fuzzy on the top, about the size of a number 2 pencil eraser. Him scraping it out, he was very frustrated that I was such a wuss, but it hurt bad. I mean, my ear was already weeks and weeks into a very painful situation. It's all inflamed and sensitive, and he pulls out this chunk of fungus from my ear canal. But yeah, story time with Josh. There you go. A little bit of living life in India. Yeah, so I'm going to clean this up and get her back together and see how she spins. Yeah, I'm thinking that grease may have outlived its service life. Pretty nasty. Alright, so I got a little bit of a hillbilly rig here to test it. I've got my hot coming off of there. Grounded the wire. And I got my motor grounded. And a hot running here. But when I try and stabilize it here, when I push the button, the solenoid's working and the motor's spinning. Goal tonight, I forgot I had the starter half apart. My main goal tonight was to start working on getting the motor out again. And the reason I have to do that is I put about 10 miles on the engine. Things were running okay. You know, there was definitely some carburation issues that I had to deal with. Oh, all in all, things were working okay. I was going to take it out on like a nice long break-in ride, you know, ride for a little bit, stop, ride for a little bit, stop, you know, make sure that the throttle stops were working well, make sure that the fuel mixture screw and everything was tuned in once it got it warm, you know, just kind of start getting her moving towards functionality. And I thought, you know, I'm going to take off the little valve adjuster covers and take a peek and make sure that the valve adjustments are all still good. And I take this off, and not only are there, you can see, some battle damage. I think this is from when I realized after a couple miles that these are all only hand tight, and I kind of cranked them down a little, just gave them a little, and I think that is the difference there between the two bumps. And this was full of glitter, which I believe motorcycles are not supposed to manufacture glitter. Took that off, reached in, grabbed the adjustment screw, and it came right out. The nut was not on the screw, and the screw, as you can tell here, come on, focus, those threads are not healthy threads. So I'm not sure exactly what caused that to happen. It looks like the threads on the arm are totally shot as well. So engine's coming out. I'm going to replace that rocker arm, replace this adjustment screw, but then I need to figure out why this happened. I'm kind of hoping that it's just that rocker arm was old and made of Velveeta cheese, but when I last worked with it, it seemed like it was made of metal. Out comes the motor, because of course I can't take this off without the motor being out of the bike. So I'm going to take that out, and hopefully I don't have to redo some of the serious work I did, and I can just replace that arm, or the valve adjuster. But that's the great trauma. Had 10 miles on it, thought I was doing awesome, and then lo and behold, life happened. But she's looking good. She was running okay. Just obviously something was not right in the head, which, you know, I know what that's like, you know what I mean? Alright, I'll talk to you later. Good news. If you look here, there's no engine on the workbench. The engine is back in the bike. I had a buddy help me. We got it back in there. I have no idea where we are with videos. I don't know what we've talked about last. But rocker arm, threaded, replaced it, got it in there. All of that happened with other people, so I thought it'd be weird to film it because I'm just not that comfortable with this whole thing. We got it in though. So now we just put it all together and hope all the wires connect and we're rocking and rolling. But the good news is I thought I would be going to DGR this weekend, but just like Mid-Ohio, something came up, and even if I get the bike put together, I can't go to DGR because of a business thing. So I'd love to get it running this week and get some miles on it, but DGR may not happen. But anyway, I'm just going to put it back together, so there's really nothing to watch, and maybe I'll do, I've never done a, what is it called? You know, the thing? Maybe I'll try it.